Hi everyone, welcome back to Total War Therapy, and today we're gonna see the missing units for the potential factions that we are expecting with the next DLC, the Lords of the End Times. Of course I'm talking about the Skaven, Nurgle or the Warriors of Chaos. We're gonna debate about that later, and then Nagash with his Undead Legions. So don't forget to subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and let's begin. Hi, I'm Alberto, I'm a real person, and here you will find the beginner's guide, the battle unit roster, tier list, ranking, and many shorts. So if you wanna support the channel, please consider to subscribe. Let's start with the Nurgle and the Warriors of Chaos. Of course, we are building the first part of this speculation over the assumption that we're gonna get the faction of the Glottkin Brothers, that they are some of the most important characters in the lore of the end times. That's why I think that is quite predictable that we're gonna get them with this DLC. In any case, they are not one single legendary lord, but they are three brothers, one melee fighter, one spellcaster, and a giant monster. That is the first one that you probably noticed. In any case, I think and I hope that we're gonna get three different skill trees with them. That will be amazing, because you can decide which legendary lord to level up first, even if they are coming in the same package. They will be the same unit. And the big question is if they are gonna be a faction of the Warriors of Chaos or of Nurgle. And my analysis is that they're gonna be a Warriors of Chaos faction. First, because I don't expect them to be played as as a pure Nurgle faction. They are more linked to the Warriors of Chaos in the lore of the end times. They will have a plug mechanics, yes, but they will not look for the favor of Nurgle, definitely in this scenario. And then because the units that probably we're gonna get with this DLC, they will not be strictly correlated to Nurgle. There will be some Nurgle units that they will be also available for the other Nurgle factions, but I expect some other more generic Warriors of Chaos units that will be available for all the factions of the Warriors of Chaos, but not for Nurgle. Now, the first unit that comes to my mind are the Blightkings. That is this very elite melee infantry of Nurgle. They will be probably the last, the top tier of our melee infantry, even in the faction, in the mechanics of the Warriors of Chaos when you can upgrade. I expect them to be at the same level of the Wrathmongers, so they will cause a lot of destruction, but at the same time they will be very defensive with a lot of armor, some regeneration maybe. And then we have the Chaos Spined Beast, that it's a model that it has been already leaked, I mean, as far as I know. So we know that it's coming, even because, I mean, honestly, it looks very cheap. I mean, compared to other model and monsters that I hope they are gonna make, this is the easiest one. So we can definitely see it as an Nurgle unit. Yes, I mean, this Chaos unit can be of every monogod, but I think that Nurgle is the best candidate for that. It will be a giant Warhound, so it will be very fast with armor-piercing damage. Then we're gonna get a legendary hero, finally, for Nurgle, Gutrot Spume. I hope that it could be a legendary lord, because he's linked to the naval theme, and it would have been funny to have, another sea faction with Nurgle. But yeah, I think that since we don't have a legendary lord, a legendary hero for Nurgle at this point, because we got, I mean, all the warlords with the Tamurkhan, but you cannot recruit them with the other Nurgle faction, so we really need a strong and charismatic character for this faction. And yeah, we're gonna get probably Gutrot Spume, because first he's linked to the end times, and second because I mean, it's wonderful. And then we're gonna get the Pox Maggoth. Now we don't know if this will be a single entity monster or some legendary heroes, because there are 3 characters in the lore of the end times that are linked to, that are riding this mount, that are Morbidex, Twiceborn, Blob, Rotspawned, and Orgoth's Demon Spew. I hope I pronounced them correctly. If they are creating all the Mortarchs for Nagash, there is a chance that we're gonna get the 3 of them, but in that case it will be insane. Think about getting 3 of these mounted characters in the same army with Tamurkhan, for example. It will be too insane. I generally believe that we're gonna get also, and especially the single entity monster that can have a missile attack, and this is the thing that most intrigues me. And then there are of course many chaos related units that we may get, and the first of them that comes to my mind is the Chaos Siege Giant. That is a unit that we were already expecting for the faction of the Chaos Dwarfs, but at the end they say they wanted to invest on other units. And this can be a great thing, because now he can come with a different budget, so he will have some unique animations, and I really like the model. I never liked the Giant, but with this one I think that I can make an exception. And yeah, it's great. Probably will be available also for the Chaos Dwarfs. Let's continue with the Skaven, and of course, if we are gonna get a faction of the Skaven, this will be led by Thanquol, one of the most important characters in the lore of the end times, and also one of the most wanted characters by the community. And I think that we're gonna get him at some point anyway, because the devs of Creative Assembly love him and the community as well, so it's a must to have a choice in this game. In any case, he's this priest that is riding a modified Rat Ogre, a Stormfiend. That is a unit that we're gonna talk about later. I'm very excited about this character. Then we're gonna get the Stormfiends. That is, the only unit that we know for sure that will come with the Thanquol. These are basically Rat Ogres, but modified and with some missile weapons. Now, I think that there are not many options in the, for the Skaven army. I don't know how they're gonna make this DLC, if it will be split into 4 different packages, because the Skaven don't have so many missing units. I even searched for them. There are some weapon variants, but they are not that interesting. So I think they will just make many variants of Stormfiends, one with Warp Grinder, one with some melee weapons, one with a little cannon, one with a rattling gun. And I would like to say that the Skaven is one of the biggest army already, so we don't need many other units. If they add a couple of them and then they invest the rest of the resources on other factions that they need more units, for me it's the best choice. Then we're probably gonna get the Vermin Lord. That is another unit linked to the end times, as far as I know. That will be a character. Now I think that Skaven have too many characters, so I don't want another generic lord and or hero, I don't know. So I really hope they can come up with a different idea. And then, and I'm not happy about this, but probably we're gonna get as a only single entity monster, the Chimera Rat. I don't know if this is the pronunciation, but anyway, is a Hydra from the Dark Elves roster, but modified by rats to be more a Rat Ogre, a Hellpit Abomination or something like that. Now, this is the same feeling that I had with the Cursed Ettin before the last DLC, Tides of Torment, because I was scared by what would have been looked like the Cursed Ettin, but at the end I was happy with how they created the aesthetics. It was quite cool. In the last part of this speculation, we're gonna talk about Nagash and his Undead Legions. Now, this is the only faction that we know for sure that is coming in the next DLC, the Lords of the End Times, because they announced it. Now, what I think is that he's gonna get his own civilization. So not only the faction within the, the Tomb Kings or the Vampire Counts. No, he will get his own civilization with all the unique mechanics. So my only problem is that they are gonna break the balance of the 3 factions per line when you decide which new campaign to play. And I hope that at some point they can add also the Dogs of War and some other factions, so at that point they can create the balance again. Say that this is a very interesting lord that will be a little overpowered, and if Creative Assembly managed to make Sea Lord Daisling overpowered, I really cannot imagine what they have in mind for him. I'm not excited because it will be a very boring campaign, but at the same time it's a very cool character. Probably you're not gonna get him as the supreme form at the beginning of the campaign, so he will be just a little necromancer, and when you will satisfy some conditions, then you can turn him into his supreme form. And I believe this because otherwise it would be too powerful. I mean, I cannot expect to have this dude in the early campaign, that can already destroy an entire army. Then we're gonna get all the Mortarchs, and the first one will be Neferata, that will come as a legendary lord but for free. So all the possessors of which game will be able to use her, probably who has the first game or some Vampire Counts DLC. That is just one actually. In any case, I'm very excited for her. She's one of the most charismatic characters in the lore for me, and she will get her own Dread Abyssal, that is the mount that you can see. About the Dread Abyssal, I think we are gonna get it. We're gonna get a unique version of this mount for all the other lords that will be the other Mortarchs of Nagash, and all of them, they will be special and unique with a very interesting aesthetics. If you can see this leak, I don't know if it's a leak honestly, but I just found it on internet, that it's very cool. And it will not be probably also a single entity monster because it would be too weird, but I don't know, I cannot say it for sure. And then we're gonna get the other Mortarchs. Some of the Mortarchs we already have them in the game, like Arkan, Vlad, Manfred, and Luthor and Krell, that for now is just a summon ability, but it will be probably upgraded to a legendary hero. So many legendary heroes are coming with this part of the package. And yes, they are gonna get new abilities if they decide to follow Nagash, and they will also get some mounts. So as I said, they will get the Dread Abyssal unique mounts for each of them. Probably not Vlad and Luthor anyway. Then we're gonna get new Mortarchs that are coming in the form of legendary heroes, assume, or unique heroes like for Tamurkhan. The first one is Wallach Harkan, that will be a legendary hero for all the Vampire Counts faction, or at least this is what I expect. In the lore, he's one of the greatest swordmen of Warhammer, of this world. So I really expect him to be a really strong melee fighter that can win against the Skulltaker, who knows. Then we're gonna get Dieter Helsnicht, that is basically a necromancer, but he's riding a manticore. That is something quite unique. I mean, not that special, but at least he's unique. It can be interesting. And then we are gonna get the Nameless. The Nameless is a very intriguing character because in the lore he's some kind of a shape shifter, so he will take the form of the body of his last victim or something like that. That's why for a big part of the lore of the end times, he will wear the body of one Empire character that now I don't remember the name. Maybe it was Cart, something like that. I'm not sure. But I don't know if they will create another, changeling mechanics for him, even because they have to upgrade it with any new addition in the game. So maybe it will be just, a very strong and immortal with regeneration melee fighter maybe with the body of an empire character, who knows. But even this, I think overall getting all the Mortarchs together will be the best mechanics of the game. They will create something like that even for Archon, I don't know, but I hope so. The first unit that we know that is coming for sure with this DLC is the Tomb Herald. That I'm not sure if it will be a generic hero or a generic lord. I hope it will be a generic hero, because as a generic lord I really want the sorcerer, the lich priest generic lord, because we need a spellcaster lord option for the Tomb Kings. Even if you know, as a generic hero, I'm afraid it will be too similar to the melee fighter, that the melee specialist that we already get for the Tomb Kings. So I don't know, maybe they will just create some differences in the skill trees, but at the end, if they will get the same amounts, in my opinion, it's not gonna change a lot. Then we're gonna get the Morghasts, Archai and the Knot. Now the Morghasts are these constructs that are monstrous flying infantry. They will be so strong, and yeah, I just played a mod with them and they are insane, so I cannot imagine how they will implement them in the game. And but yeah, they will be scaring, very big in multiple versions. Probably there will be the Morghast that is just the unit, and then the Morghast Archai, the Morghast will have the dual weapons in my opinion, and then the Morghast Archai that are the elite version of them. They will be either a generic hero, or they will be you know, an elite unit, but in this case with the great weapons, so with the anti-large bonus. I mean, if we follow the patterns of this game. Very excited about this unit as well, but yeah, they will be too powerful for me. And then, and this is a dream coming true, we're gonna get the Khemric Titan. That is one of the very few missing monsters of the Monstrous Arcanum book. There will be probably also a mission for Norsca with him, or I mean, this is what I hope. And yeah, it will be crazy, I love it. He will not be able to fly likely, I mean probably, but yeah, I hope they can make it flying, because you know, otherwise it will be a little too similar with I mean, to all the other big monsters that we have for the Tomb Kings. And then there are some units that we can just speculate about. The first one is the Spirit Host. That is a unit linked to Nagash that, I don't know, there will be some kind of furies for the vampires that we already have you know, the bats and the vultures for the Tomb Kings that will be available for the Undead Legions. But yes, there will be some kind of flying things, some flying storm magical that it will be very annoying. Probably they will you know, go down a lot, so you have to recruit them many times, but it can be interesting. Then we're gonna get some melee infantry and some cavalry for Nagash, you know, the Nagashizar legions, something like that. That it will not be that special for me. Will be the same as the Beermen and the Kargan cavalry that we got in Tides of Torment for Norsca. So you know, just a slightly different version of melee infantry and cavalry, but I mean, they're not gonna be that different compared to the units of the Vampire Council that we already have. Then we're gonna get the Tomb Storm. If we're gonna get the Khemric Titan, yes, probably we're gonna get the little version, these scarabs that I don't know how they will make them into the game, if they will be, I don't, probably like the little spiders for the greenskins and for you know, Drika. This is my idea, but yeah, they will not be that strong, but they can be funny to use in the early campaign of the Tomb Kings, and they remind me of the Mummy, you know, the movie with these scarabs that were very deadly. Then probably we're gonna get some weapon variants for some units of the Tomb Kings that can be the Bone Giant or the Ushapti. A very popular version of the Ushapti is the one with the great weapons. I'm not a huge fan of this kind of things, because I mean, we already get many Ushapti. I don't want another version that yeah, I mean, there is a use for them in the battlefield, but it's a little redundant for me. I don't want to create, you know, an army only of Ushabti. They're a great support unit, and they have to remain like that. And then there is one character for the Tomb Kings, that is the Prince Apophas. I hope that I pronounced it correctly. That okay, this is a great question. Are we gonna get another legendary lord or legendary hero for the Tomb Kings? We need a legendary hero. I mean, if we want to, you know, follow the pattern of all the other factions in the game that are getting at least one legendary hero. Or it will be a legendary lord, because, you know, we have so few unique starting location for the Tomb Kings. 3 of them are basically in the same region, and even if they have different kind of mechanics, I mean, they don't have them, but let's say they're still, I mean, very close, and the campaign, the mid and the late campaign will be almost the same at the end. That's why I really hoped that they could make another legendary lord, but probably he's not gonna happen. So the Prince Apophas, if he's coming, it will be definitely a legendary hero. And I mean, at the end, I can be okay with that. And then the last unit, this time an undead vampire counts related unit, that for me is coming with this DLC, is the Incarnate Elemental of Death. We got the Incarnate Elemental of Beast, then the Sea Elemental, so it's time before the Fire Elemental to get this incredible monster. I remember that at the very beginning of my channel I made an entire video about this unit because I love the lore. This is this giant snake with 2 heads that they are linked from I mean, by a chain, and then when they go down, this chain, the stone like of this chain explodes, so they will create this kind of ability that we already have for many units in this game, like the Mangler Squeaks or some characters. Anyway, I think that, you know, this DLC overall will be one of the best we ever got. I still have no idea who can be the 4th legendary lord, probably an Order faction. I will ask you to, you know, speculate over that in the comments. And yeah, thank you for following me, and see you very, very soon.